introduce everyone. Let me just first say that we are in the presence of some musical royalty here. So everyone here is very lucky. We have Pastor Pat Wright, who is not only a soul icon, started her career in music in the 60s, but has been running the Total Experience Gospel Choir, which is something of her own creation, since 1973 here in Seattle. And they're world famous. They have performed for presidents, and Pastor Pat Famous is kind of famous for getting people onto American Idol, which I think we'll talk a little bit about. We also have Danbert Nobacon, formerly of a little band you might know called Chumbawamba, who now lives out here in Twisp, Washington. And he has some excellent protest folk, a new album coming out. Is it Axis of Dissent? Is that the...
that's the group of musicians.
Ah, that's the, yeah. But we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. And some newer musicians who you may not have heard of, Curtis Sutton of the band Curtis Sutton and the Scavengers from Boise. And we'll talk to them in a little bit, but I had the luck of receiving their album in the email. This is one of the cool things about being a music journalist. They just sort of dropped in my lap, and I love this band, so I'm so happy they're here to talk to us today. But first, I guess, I wanted to get into it with Danbert Nobacon.
Okay.
You're something of a personality, but one of the reasons I wanted to have you here is that so often in music, we talk about music as if it's not art. Mm-hmm. And I think your career is one of those that you can really look at, and it's altogether a very nice piece of contemporary art. Because I think you've worked to fight or to protest, all kinds of things that we're up against, like patriarchal systems. You've explored your own sexuality with your music. You've defended the environment, questioned ethnicity and religion. And I think we can laugh it off at some of the songs which are funnier and say, oh, that guy's pretty entertaining. But has that always been your focus, or are we just playing around here?
No, I got into music when I was 17 because punk rock came to Northern England, and since then, I don't know how many decades that is, but yeah, art is a central part of it. Art as a weapon, basically, or in the folk context, protest, resistance songs, especially in this current climate. Even though, throughout the history of Chumbawamba and my solo stuff, it has gone from 1978 until now, changing, and I think that's part of it. Art changes, it evolves, and it's part of who we are. It's part of common humanity, as is music, and art together. The art of music is a fantastic thing.
I think you're sort of known for being, I've heard that, I like the term folk prankster.
Folk what? Prankster?
Prankster, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's... So, Chumbawamba were very theatrical, and I've always carried that with me. I actually teach theatre in high school in Winthrop, North Central Washington. We just finished our high school production. So, the theatrical aspect of rock or pop, David Bowie, whoever it is, Chumbawamba, we always used characters, and it's just, a stage to me. There's more than musicians with instruments. Not everyone's like that, but that's kind of my angle.
Is it true that Chumbawamba asked fans to steal their album from major...
Well, when we had the big song, Alice was being interviewed by Bill. Well, he's on some late night show. What's his name, Bill? Anyway... I can't remember, but I don't know if she got into it, but basically she said, yeah, if you don't have any money, go steal it from Virgin. And there was a whole, the record company, Virgin, pulling it off the shelves, blah, blah, blah.
Your new record talks a lot about what's happening right now in the political and environmental climate, per se, in the world. How has that been received so far? Are there Because there's a lot of dissent on that record. Are there people who want to argue with you about it? Is it sort of...
I haven't really met many people who want to argue. There was one guy in England who, I don't think he got it. He just thought, oh, this is lame pop. He didn't actually listen to it, I don't think. Because it's pop music, but the lyrics have some body to them. And, you know, this is my first album in 7 years, and I find that I was writing, so I read a lot of popular science books, and I was writing songs, and subconsciously scientific language was creeping its way into my lyric writing. And I studied children's play in college for 2 years, so I have this, you know, and basically there's a whole body of new research, really over the last 40 years, that art is adaptive. It helped us survive as a species, and I think that's probably never truer than now. Art and science are the things which science gauges the health of the planet. Art, our sort of where we're at, you know, trying to understand who we are, share common humanity, and both things are completely under attack by the current government. So this album, fortuitously, in a way, just kind of hit at the right time, because we've got this authoritarian, there's no other way to describe it, we have an authoritarian government of the billionaires, for the billionaires, and the things I was kind of writing about are against that and for life on Earth and for ordinary people.
And the album is called Stardust To Darwinstuff.
Stardust To Darwinstuff.
Would you play us a song from that album so people can get an idea of what
we're talking about
here?
Save Us. The full title is Karma Won't Save Us from Rex Tillerson. This is when he was in his old job, making millions of dollars a year, and now he's got a new job where he's probably looking to his next job, making deals towards his next job where he's going to be making billions. And this is in praise of science as well. Okay.
Demonstrable evidence of our situation and its gravity by application of the scientific method. By taking careful measurements, we find that the injury false positive of endless economic growth is a luxury our species can't afford. So I'm sorry, but karma won't save us. Measured by every soul that ever died, so the rich can get away with getting richer every day, with no tangible to the ruling class. The CEO of ExxonMobil makes in excess of 14 million a year. Being generous, let's say, works a 60-hour week, he makes minimum wage in the time it takes to say minimum wage. So I'm sorry, but karma won't save us. Measured by every soul that has to die, so the rich can get away with getting richer every day, with no palpable corollary consequence. Killing us softly with orthodoxy. Does it make me angry? It makes me apoplectic that we enable the one to drive the whole picnic over the cliff without a blind. The science of being scientific, so it's sorry, but karma won't save us. Measured by every living thing that has to die. So the rich can keep on getting richer every day, till it all falls apart and worms and shit inherit the earth. As the peer-reviewed evidence clearly shows, predator capital is a psychosis beyond hope. An aberration, a rogue meme, a failed experiment, and an insult to our millions of years old evolved intelligence.
Thank you.
Danbert Nobacon, everybody. The new album is Stardust To Darwinstuff. You can buy that now. I just personally want to say thank you so much for making an album of protest folk, because so often in my line of journalism we hear from people that say, "Oh, the kids don't know how to do this anymore. You know, they don't know how to make the protest folk or the good music like we used to." And I think that if you have felt that at all, you should probably pick up Stardust To Darwinstuff.
So tomorrow night at Folklife on the Vera stage, I'm playing with a group of musicians, and it's a ball of wax, songs of resistance, and we did it in January, and I kind of felt like the granddad amongst these Seattle musicians who are really cool, and a couple of them actually, I've never wrote a protest song before, but I am so outraged at what's going on. I just felt I had to try and say something, and that's really cool in a way. I mean, I don't think we should have government so it makes us write protest songs, but if it's there, we got to react to it.
Yeah.
Resist. Thanks.
So catch Danbert Nobacon later on at Folklife, and then when is the Punk is Folk show?
That's tonight in Ballard,
Ballard,
at Conor Byrne.
So, tell your friends. Let's see. Pastor Pat Wright, thank you so much for being here. I can't believe I'm sitting next. I don't know if you guys know who Pastor Pat Wright is. I want to talk to you last, though. Is that okay? Are you doing all right? Okay. Up next, let's talk to Curtis Sutton from Boise. You guys, this is another band, just sort of what I'm talking about. They're saying people often question, do we even know how to make roots music anymore, or folk music? And I felt so lucky one day when one of you guys which one of you guys emailed me the album? It was fantastic because this music started coming out of my speakers, and I said, this is it, you know? Like, I don't even have to call these people. I don't have to go out to shows and find them. They're emailing me now. And it was just really amazing for me. And so when I heard they were playing at Folklife, and we were talking about doing this little conversation, I knew that I wanted to have you guys here because to me, you sort of represent a youthful voice in a youthful place, actually, Boise, Idaho, which is a fun city. What got you guys started making roots music? Why do you do this? Okay, first, Charlie?
For me, it was kind of, it's in my family. I've got a couple of uncles that play. One of them managed a band for quite a few years in St. Louis, and so I moved to St. Louis when I was about 15, and I was immersed in the music scene there, and there's a lot of really good traditional music there, and for me, it was kind of being a roadie for my uncle, going to joints and watching him play, you know. Yeah. I was not even old enough to really drink, and it just got me.
Yeah, you were hooked, huh? I was hooked. How about you?
So when I was younger, that's kind of was me when I was 17, 15, 16. Punk rock, that's kind of where I started playing playing guitar and playing in bands. I've always kind of been into folk and blues music, but kind of the country Americana stuff kind of came to me probably when I went to college and quit playing electric guitar at that time and picked up acoustic and just kind of changed my writing, and of course with writing a certain way just kind of got into it, a rabbit hole of just great music that, 15 years later I'm still well down in, so I guess.
Because I do American Standard Time and help out sometimes on the Roadhouse at KHP, I listen to folk and blues and gospel and country music every single day. And when I was a kid, I hated it because I grew up in New Mexico and there was one radio station and that was country music radio station. So I hated all that stuff. But it's funny to see a lot of people come from the punk community, which would have been my music of choice as well. Why do you think that works out so well? Is it the simplicity of the music? Is it the tradition? What is it?
I don't know. But yeah, I see that. I mean, a lot of my buddies that are musicians that play similar music, a lot of them kind of started out playing punk rock music. I don't know. I mean, you could definitely see the kind of DIY aesthetic of punk. If you get excited about music, you pick up a guitar, you start writing music right away and playing in a band. And I think folk music in particular is kind of like that, right? It's
more accessible.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I think maybe that's what it is a lot of times, well, depending on where you're at, where I grew up. I mean, it was writing music to play songs for my friends at shows that we threw, and I think maybe folk music is a lot of that. You're writing songs for people, whether you're sitting around the house playing to your friends or playing at a show, whatever. Maybe there's a connection there, but there's definitely a connection, I guess.
So often we come back to this conversation about music being a community thing and just gathering to do it. And I, for one, am just so dang happy about the crumbling of the music industry. Like, I feel bad that nobody's making any money doing this, but it really has brought people together and sort of evened the playing for everyone. For instance, I don't have to weed through like 1,000 submissions from Interscope to get to something like Curtis Sutton from Boise. Is it hard being a band in Boise right now? No.
No, because it's kind of a middle-sized city and it's growing really fast. We got there at the right time. It's not like in a larger city where, like I lived in Portland for a while, I lived in Boston for a while, I lived in St. Louis for a long time. It's like a privilege to get a gig where there you actually can get paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can actually even hopefully pay the bass player and I still have a couple bucks left over to put some gas in the truck.
Yeah.
So
and it's a
good city.
Yeah, it's a great music scene over there too. It's definitely one of those cities that's kind of bubbling up with just a lot of cool stuff happening, a lot of great bands, a lot of different types of music too. And it's kind of I've lived similar to Charlie all over the country, and it's kind of cool to be like on the cusp of like, it's just kind of, it's a great scene right now. So.
Yeah, I feel like Boise is sort of an oasis out there. And actually, I'm pronouncing it wrong. I heard one of you guys say it earlier.
Boise.
I don't know if you guys know it's pronounced Boise.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah, there's no Z in it.
I'm from North Idaho, so I say Boise just to offend.
Oh, really?
Just to offend.
Oh, that's funny.
Wow. Let's not fight about it though. Let's play some music about it. You guys have a song you want to play for us? I want people to hear this very special, joyous noise that you.
It's hard to pick just one because we both kind of sing some kind of fun one. Let's see. No, it's okay.
Shoot.
blood red eyes under the silos and sky. Dust devils dance, dust devils dance, dust devils dance. Oh, dust devils dance, dust devils dance, dust devils dance. In a supernatural eternity of dirt. Tripod is buried at the bottom of the yard. Now black roses bloom where he crawled from his tomb, from the tomb where those black roses bloom. And those dust devils dance, dust devils dance, dust devils dance, dust devils dance, dust devils dance. In a supernatural eternity of dirt. Silver bullet blazing to the town without a name. Cutting through the canyon, there's a long forgotten train. Silver bullet blazing to a town without a name. In a supernatural, it's a supernatural eternity of birth.
happening there?
What was that?
What time are we playing at? 7 or 8?
I think we're playing at 8 tomorrow at the back porch stage.
Okay. Any other shows in Seattle while you're here? Or on the way back?
You're in the corner blind.
No, we're actually we're just hanging out, enjoying the city, being tourists for the rest of the weekend. So it's nice to be doing that for a change.
Well, thank you for coming by. And you were telling me earlier there's a new album coming at the end of the summer, maybe?
Yeah, August 4th is the release date. We've got so you've got the first EP, so this is our first full-length album. So yeah, we're pretty excited about it.
So I'm sure that everybody that leaves here now is going to start a band or want to pick up your album. So what is the EP that we get now? That's online? Is that the
Yep, that's online. You can find it Spotify, iTunes, Bandcamp, all that.
Okay. What is, just if you could sum it up for me real quick, what is country music like? What is it? That's a great question.
I think to me, it's music, the real country music. I mean, versus like slick country music. Is that what you're asking? You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
pop country music.
Yeah, it comes from like family and like just like playing. It's folk music to me. Like good country music is folk music.
Yeah, I think it has to have a little bit of that. And I also think it has to be maybe a happy song about a sad thing. Like that's always the best country song, you know? I bet you know something about country. You're from Texas, huh?
Absolutely.
Can she borrow your microphone?
Absolutely, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pastor Pat Wright. You may have heard her from one of several places. She made a little soul music in the 60s. She was part of Weedle's Groove, which was the funk and soul that Seattle is famous for. And she's also, for years, been running the Total Experience Gospel Choir, which is a world-famous gospel choir. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah. I heard you may be retiring soon.
Yes, next year.
Next year?
It'll be 45 years this year.
45 years. And so when did Total Experience Gospel Choir start?
1973.
And how long have you been making music altogether?
All my life.
Oh, that's right.
I
I thought she was going to say, well, I made the soul record in 1969. No. You started singing when you were how old?
3.
And do you remember that? Or is that something they told you? They were like, oh,
No, I remember it because my father was the pastor of the church and he never said no to preaching daddy.
So you were singing hymns and gospel.
Yes.
Yeah, wow. And something I think is amazing is that you never, it was never really a question for you because by the time you were a teenager, you were leading the gospel choir in your father's church, right?
That's absolutely right. I taught myself to play the piano. And so as a preteen, I was playing piano like the older people were playing the piano. I was surprised myself.
Now, that was in Carthage, Texas. So was there music played in your home? Did you guys listen to records or the radio?
Call for KYNC radio coming out of Shreveport, Louisiana in 1420 on the AM dial.
What would have been playing back then? What did you like to hear? Was there anything you sang along with that you remember?
Since they were on every day, and of course the gospel show was 6 hours a day. So that was always playing at our house, and we just, as kids, we just walk around singing what we heard on the radio. There were 8 of us.
8 of you, wow. So big family from Carthage, Texas. And is it true that you were maybe a little too into music? I read that your father moved you out to Seattle in order to get you away from music?
Oh, that would be wrong. No, he was very, very supportive. He died when I was very young. He died my senior year in high school. Okay. And see, in the South, if your father's a preacher, they get to preach the baccalaureate for your graduation. And he died 2 months before I graduated from high school.
Oh, that's terrible. So what brought you out here then?
My sister was living here. Well, I have 2 sisters who lived here, and she had 4 bad kids.
Bad kids?
Actually, just mischievous like kids, and she needed some help with them because she and her husband decided to go their separate ways. And so my mother was always told us to really help each other. And so they put me on a Greyhound bus, no, Continental Trailways bus.
Oh, old school.
You should hear the stories I have about that. But anyway, they put me on this Trailways bus all the way from Carthage, Texas to Seattle, Washington. And I was the only African American on the bus. And they put, of course, I had to sit on the back. That was back in 1961. And I came up to help my sister with the children. I dropped out of college and came up here.
So much of the music experience is the African American experience. I don't think we talk about that enough. We talked about this yesterday on the American Standard Time stage. A young lady who's a bright musician here with a band called the Black Tones said the three things you need for rock and roll were blues music, gospel, of course, and what else?
Black people.
Black people. Not happening without black people. And so, that's correct,
That's
right?
not right, yeah.
Yeah. So, what was it like when you got here in Seattle? Was it different? Of course the city was different, but...
Well, I should say it as plainly as I can. I didn't like it.
And what did you not like?
No one was friendly.
Oh, really?
In the South, everybody, they don't have to know you to come up and hug you and wish you well and hold a conversation. Here, I had to either start the conversation or somebody who may know me would come up and say something to me, but nobody was friendly.
I think somebody put this theory to me that Seattle or West Coast cities are pioneering cities. It's the end of manifest destiny. So everybody out here is sort of like this rogue solo, or they have that in their family. So maybe that's... So how... It must have been so hard to meet people. What was your drive to make your own rock music? Because you were the host of your own radio show pretty soon after arriving here.
16 years.
And that was a gospel show.
That was a gospel show. A gospel show came from YAC Radio.
And then you had your own it was like a record label PR firm where you were discovering acts.
A lady heard me sing, and so she put me on her record label. And I just got a check from the people who handled it. And it was a nice little check. They still sell it.
You're still getting checks from them?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that real quick, because this is a very interesting story. Your soul music and the stuff with Wiggles Group wasn't necessarily a hit. It was sort of a regional thing.
But it wasn't with Wiggles Group. This was before Wiggles Group.
Yeah, there was two singles, right? I Let a Good Man Go.
I sure did.
Girl.
Everybody talks about that song, but I'm a little love affair guy.
I like that love affair all the
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Were those two separate singles, or that was like an A and a B side?
No, it was an A and B side.
Yeah, record grid stuff. It's important. But that single is really hard to find now, and I read that one has...
to Amazon.
Oh.
Somebody has it.
Somebody has it. I read that one sold for like $5,000.
Yeah.
Because, and this is what happened. Some house musicians in Europe and Britain discovered these tracks that she had laid down, and they started spinning them at dance clubs. And before you know it, there's a bootleg. But you tracked those people down, didn't you? And you said, not with my music. Right?
Yes, because that's piracy. You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, it's dishonest.
Check and see if that person is still living. I'm still breathing, y'all.
So was it difficult to get the rights to, or
yes,
get
it's
them to
very,
stop?
very difficult. I had to have a lawyer to straighten it out for me, but not completely because we thought it was over. And then here a couple of days ago, I got another check.
That's great. You're still getting paid for that.
Yes.
I'm super happy about that. So tell me a little bit about Total Experience Gospel Choir, because speaking of the African American experience in Seattle, that's something that you've been doing since 1973, and it was primarily just of your own volition. This is just how you are. You start a choir for kids and then teach them how to sing.
Basically, I was hired by Seattle Public Schools to teach music in high school, so I taught at Franklin High School. And all of a sudden, although they knew I was a gospel singer, all of a sudden they decided that they shouldn't allow me to be teaching this kind of music in public school. But none of the children who were going to Franklin High School at that time were singing the organized choir. But we'd be, sometimes they would be out on the playfield or in the gym somewhere, and they were singing 3-part harmony. And they finally decided to change their tune. That's what we have now.
And, I mean, I guess anyone who hears your voice out loud would be encouraged to hire you, and you're still singing.
Yes.
And do you think you could do a song for us?
Yeah, you want some background?
Yeah, I think, okay, so we have some members from the choir who are here with Pastor Pat. You guys want to hear? You want to experience it? Tell them experience about the choir. You guys want to come up here and sing? Can we do one song? I mean, I think that's all we have time for, but thank you all so much for being here. Curtis Sutton from Boise, Danbert Nobacon. Catch their shows later at Folklife. We're just going to go out after this because there's no way I'm going on to say anything after Pastor Pat sings. So, catch her set. When is your set at Folklife?
We're on Monday.
Okay.
And what time are we on?
1:15.
1:15.
And at which stage is that? Oh, the Mural Amphitheater, so make sure you guys get out for that. But I will get out of your way now. What are we going to sing?
We're going to sing the song that was made popular by, of course, Donna Ross and the Supremes. And so, it's clean. It's just called Reach Out and Touch Somebody's Hand.
Okay. Do you want to change your microphone?
They're going to come out.
All right.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand and make this world a better place. I know we can. Yes, we can. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Somebody's hand. Make the world a better place. I know we can. Yes, we can. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Who may have lost their way. Just try. Would I be talking a little too strong if I asked each of you to share a problem that's not your own? Well, we can change things when we all start giving to the end. Reach out and touch somebody's hand and make the world a better place. I know we can reach out and touch somebody's hand. Somebody's hand. Make the world a better place.
Thank you guys for being here. If you like the kind of stuff we're talking about here, check out American Standard Time. Listen to Greg Vandy's show, The Roadhouse, on KEXP from 6 to 9 p.m. on Wednesdays. And that's all I need some time.
Folklife. Thanks for watching.